بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. كلية إمام الكاظم، أقسام الديوانية، قسم اللغة الإنجليزية، المرحلة الثانية، مادة ELT، تدريس محمد حسين البدري. Today we have second lecture about Kathy. We talked about Yoshi and little about Kathy. So today we're gonna talk about the rest of Kathy's class. What she's doing inside classroom. Okay, so here Kathy, we talked about Kathy, how she raced to the class before the beginning of her class, and how she asked some questions. And then Kathy, what does she do? She has the students select pieces of hot candy from a bag, telling the students with the cherry flavor to form a group in the back, those with lemon to group to the right, those with grape in the front, and those with lime to the left. So she has doing certain activities. She is active. After the students settle, she gives each group a set of statements about non-verbal behavior and asks them to decide if they are true or false. You see, the students are silent at first as they study such statements. During a conversation in Japan, the proper place, this is a statement here, while in Saudi Arabia it is proper to gaze directly into the person's eyes. This is what the students are reading. Okay, they are reading such kind of statements. As they work on this task, Kathy circulates among these groups. She circulates. Okay, she is walking around them. She is walking, okay, going to all of them, looking at them, watching what they are doing, how they are reading this. She doesn't tell them the answers. This is very important. Here you have to see the difference between them, between Kathy and Yoshi. She doesn't tell them the answer. Even they coach her. When they coach her, okay, she didn't tell them the answer. The room is full of laughter, but Kathy also notices that the students are speaking more than the usual amount of Hungarian today. Okay, still they speak Hungary language. She also notices their English language errors and wonders how she might give students more feedback on their language use. This is very important. See, she notices their English language. Okay, she has seen some errors when they speak, whether in pronunciation, in grammar, and she wonders how she might give students more feedback, how to deal with this. Okay, so she is thinking, this teacher, how can I make my students overcome this problem? Kathy next gets their attention and goes through the list of statements. Students ask her questions and react to each other's opinions. In the end, they discover that all the statements are true. One student claims she has tricked them. Okay? So she tricked them. So here Kathy uses tricks to trick the students, to tell them that some of these statements are false. But when they read all of them, they see that they are all correct. Kathy then hands out a short article, okay, on non-verbal behavior. Non-verbal means here what it means? It means facial expression, gestures, not verbal, not spoken. She learned about at a workshop for language teachers. She tells the students to read the first 3 paragraphs silently. She tells them read this paragraph. After which she has a student volunteer to paraphrase the meaning. So here we have students paraphrase the meaning. But if you remember, Yoshi himself paraphrases. You see the difference? With Yoshi class, Yoshi does paraphrase. But here with Kathy class, no. The students paraphrase. One of the students volunteer to paraphrase. The article is about kinesis, the study of gestures. This is the study of gestures, eye contact. This is what I mean by non-verbal? This is non-verbal. The study of gestures, eye contact, and posture. She then passes out 5 small gold stars to each student. You see here these activities. 5 small gold stars to each student. The students are instructed to read the article twice and to paste the stars during their second reading next to ideas in the reading they find most interesting. Kathy tells the students that they cannot use a dictionary for this activity. Don't use dictionary. But remember, with Yoshi they use dictionary, bilingual dictionary, and that they should try to guess the meaning of an unfamiliar word from context. You see? This is the opposite what Yoshi does. When Yoshi class, they use the dictionary, but here they don't use dictionary. The teacher tells them to guess the meaning, to know the meaning from context. Guess the meaning of certain words, certain difficult words. They have to guess them from the context. She points out that if they are stumped, they can call on her. Okay? If they are stumped, if they don't know anything, they can call on her, as she jokingly calls herself a walking dictionary. This is for fun. She tells them, I am your dictionary. Don't use dictionary. If you need any help, ask me. Okay? This is something different from Yoshi's class. As Kathy walks out of the class, you see here finish. Her class finishes, ends. You see what Kathy does inside the class, what kind of activities she is doing inside the classroom. When she gets out of the class, both of them, when Yoshi gets out of the class, what feeling does he have? He has what? He has frustrated feeling. He is discouraged. But here, she has mixed feeling about the lesson. Her exploration with the message and pictures seemed somewhat successful. She started the class quickly. You see, these are good points. And some of the students used English. The students also stayed on task during the class, and they appeared to enjoy it. You see here, these are good explanation for her class. You see her exploration with the message and pictures, when she uses pictures at the beginning, seemed somewhat successful. She started the class quickly. Some of the students used English. You see here, the students stayed on the task when she told them certain about certain questions, or she told them to see whether these are true or false. But many of the students use Hungarian during group work. She was also concerned that she didn't give them يعني قلق مهتم that she didn't give them feedback on their language. Okay, so she is thinking. This teacher is thinking about her lesson, about her class, about her students. Perhaps she said that. She murmured to herself. يعني همست الروح تحشوي نفسها. Perhaps if I gave them more feedback, they'd want to use more English. So what? So we can conclude the sentence that Kathy wants to develop herself. Kathy wants to make something good, better for the students. She wants to develop her skills. She wants to make her students speak in English, use English language. This is the difference between Kathy and Yoshi. And here we will see the same notes, but they are summarized. Here, comparison. Till now we know about Yoshi's and Kathy's teaching, methods of teaching. Here we have repetition. نعم تكرار راح يعيدنا لكن ملخص بهالصفحة لخص لنا إياه. See here, as you have undoubtedly noticed, there are some obvious differences between Yoshi's and Kathy's style of teaching. See here, each one has own style. Yoshi has style of teaching, and Kathy has her own style of teaching. Which one is better? Which one is following the best way of teaching. We will see, and we have seen, and we will see here in this small comparison. While Yoshi goes through his lessons in a more or less lockstep fashion, traditional fashion, old fashion. What does he do? Following the text, see, remember? But Kathy designs her own lessons and brings innovative ideas. Innovative, creative, it means here. Creative ideas into her teaching. You see here, this is one difference. And we talked about this point, that that Yoshi follows lockstep fashion. The same. Every day is the same. Like our teachers now, they do the same. Nothing new, nothing creative, innovative. But Kathy, designs her own lessons and brings innovative ideas. Innovative ideas, like for example, she brings pictures, okay, asking certain questions about these gestures. She brings 5 stars, جيب 5 نجوم هيك على شكل وأوراق. She gives them to the students. You see? Number 1. Yoshi follows a course program in which he leads into a topic with a tape. Remember this. This is summarized in brief. هذا ملخص كلش. واحد يقدر يفهم هذا الملخص ويروح يقرأ التفاصيل هناك. Yoshi follows what? A course. شنو course معناته? Follows a course program in which he leads into a topic with a tape, followed by a reading selection, comprehension questions, another reading and discussion questions. We talked about this in detail. He rarely breaks from the step-by-step progression. So he's what? He's following step-by-step progression, from reading to comprehension to discussion to reading and at the beginning listening. He rarely breaks. يعني نادرا. Even when he senses the students are not showing interest or comprehending the content. Okay? They don't understand the content. They are not with him. He does his best. You see here? He does his best. He does everything. He does his best. يسوي اللي عليه وأزيد to explain the meaning of the text. But he doesn't break from it. He doesn't break from it. The same way. The same road, the same street. He goes straight. He tries to break, but he can't. Nor does he engage the students in negotiating the meaning of the text. Okay. The students do not negotiate, do not paraphrase the meaning with him or each other. Do not discuss. This is very important, he is the center of the lesson and all instruction. So Yoshi is the center of the lesson and all instruction. This is very important. He is what? The center of the lesson and all instruction. Like our teachers. مثل أساتذة المدرسين حاليا بالعراق بالمدارس. They are the center. They are doing everything. What we mean by this, he is the center. It means that he does everything. He is the center of the lesson and instruction. He does everything. And his role is very active. But the student's role here is what? Is passive. Very passive. He feels secure in having the text to follow. Okay? Like our teachers now. They feel safe. They are on safe side. يقول لك حتى تكون أنت بالsafe side. Follow the text. امشي ويا الكتاب. واطلع قبل. مثلا. He feels secure in having the text to follow. And although at some level he senses that his lessons could be greatly different, he doesn't break away from his lockstep way of teaching. He doesn't change his way. Still on the same road. In contrast, على عكس من ذلك, خلينا نشوف كاتي شو تسوي. Kathy doesn't seem to rely on one way of teaching. This is the difference. هذا شبيه. He senses that his lessons could be greatly different. He doesn't break away from he doesn't. So he only follows what? One way. Okay? One way, lockstep fashion. Only this way. But this, no. She doesn't seem to rely on one way of teaching. More than one way of teaching. She has different ways of teaching. Inside inside the class in one lesson, in one lecture, rather than making herself the center. What? Rather than making herself the center of attention, she consciously looks for ways to make the class a community of learners in which students feel free to communicate with each other in English, to ask her and classmates real questions, and to assume some of the responsibilities for their own learning. She is trying to focus the learning on the students. Okay? So she is what? Different from Yoshi. Here she is trying to focus the learning on the students. On the students. She wants her students to speak rather than what, making herself the center of attention. Here, you know that the center of lesson and instruction Yoshi, but she is not here. The students are speaking. The students are discussing. She is not like Yoshi. In recognizing these differences, you see here that these differences, it is worth asking why Kathy, here we ask, why Kathy explores creative ways to teach while Yoshi doesn't. ليش كاتي هيك ويوشي not? One reason, ننطي الأسباب هنا. One reason is likely because Kathy went through an intensive Peace Corps training program. دخلت برنامج عن تعليم إنجليزي. Now both of them are not in English. So the first reason is that she has intensive Peace Corps training program. But this training wasn't relatively brief, and it was meant only to acquaint her with what EFL teachers do in the classroom. Perhaps cultural background has something to do with the difference. This is a question. Kathy is a native speaker of English who comes from American, while Yoshi has the same native language and cultural background as the students. Although the students want Yoshi, a native speaker of English, to use English with them in class, they might be hesitant to speak up in English with someone who also shares the same language and cultural norms, values. It may also be difficult for Yoshi since he likely speaks Japanese with these same people when they are not in class. Okay, so these are maybe some of them are raising here. Maybe because they like Yoshi. Why? Because he sometimes speaks Japanese outside of class. They don't want someone who speaks English. Maybe this is difference. The setting may be a factor, maybe a reason. Okay, that Kathy is successful while Yoshi is not successful. Yoshi teaches in a corporate world, a setting where in many cases he teaches business responsibilities because he's in a company. He is teaching some students, some trainees, متدربون, in a company here. While Kathy, no, the students, teaches at high school. Many of the students are motivated to learn English. Okay. then نلخصهن يعني. آخر paragraph. However, perhaps the most significant reason for the difference. شوف هذين reasons لكن not important reasons. يعني not important ما تصنع فارق. But what are the important reasons? أكو reasons important. خلينا نشوفه. هو هذا هنا مهم. Most significant, the most important reason for the differences is the way they approach their development as teachers. اوكي شلون طوروا نفسهم؟ كل واحد طور نفسه، اكو واحد اشتغل على نفسه وطورها. هاي بدي احكيها بالعربي حتى الكل يفهمها. اكو واحد طور نفسه واكو واحد ما طور نفسه. اثنيناتهم نفس الشيء، بس اكو واحد اشتغل على نفسه وتعب وطور نفسه ويتعب ويقرا وحاط كتاب هذا ELT والتفل والتسل ويقرا بطريقه التدريس، واكو واحد ماكو نايم مثل شو مدرسين بالعراق هسه نايمين نفسه صار له 20 25 سنه ما ينفتح له كتاب نفس الطريقه يتبعها. This is the difference between Yoshi and Kathy. While Kathy is eager, enthusiastic to take on the responsibility for her own development. She has responsibility. She says that I want to develop myself. I want to be a successful teacher. Yoshi is now just realizing they need to do this. هسه أدرك يوشي إنه بعد مثلا بعد 10 سنوات 20 سنة قال يابان لازم هسه اطور نفسي شو انا اشوف وضع تعبان. Now it's just realizing they need to do this. Just what has Kathy done to work on her development? The answer is addressed next. هنا answer us is the fact that although Kathy seems aware of her development, she can learn more about her teaching. She wants more and more. Okay, so here we will talk about what factors are central to teacher self-development. This lecture, we finish with this lecture. Next time we will talk about self-development. How can teacher develop themselves? How can teachers develop themselves? شلون الأساتذة يطورون نفسهم؟ شلون اشتغلت يوشي وكاثي؟ يوشي وكاثي كلش مهمات لازم تفهموهن. على مود تفهم الفاكتورز راح نطبقهن عليهم. شلون يوشي اشتغلت على نفسها؟ شلون أنت كأستاذ teacher أنت in the future you will be a teacher. All of you will be teachers. How can you develop yourself? You have to follow these factors. Thank you so much. If you have any question, you can ask.